Hi, my name is Zoran Sarabaca. I'm the principal of Xcllusive Business Sales, and in this video I'm going to attempt to give you some data and some information that will help you understand what's happening in the current business selling market. We sell businesses valued between $100,000 up to $10 million, and over the last 4 weeks we've been inundated with questions from both buyers and the sellers asking us, how's the market? What's happening? Are the people selling? Are the people buying the businesses? Who's buying the businesses in this current market? I don't have any definite answers for what the future holds, but I've got some really good information here, some really good data that I would like to share with you, which will help you understand what's going on in the business selling market. And if you're considering selling a business now in the near future, I hope that this information will give you enough data to make the right decision. I'm going to share with you data of inquiries and the trends and what we're seeing from buyer's point of view. I also going to share the results of the survey. We have surveyed 140 buyers, and I'm going to share this information with you now together with some of my comments. So what I have here with me is the printout or graph of actual inquiries that we receive on a daily basis since the beginning of February until the beginning of Easter holidays. And let's analyze the data and see what we can see in this data, because it's very important for both buyers and the sellers, because what's happening, sellers are asking us, are the buyers out there? Is anybody actually buying? Because if the buyers disappear, well, you can't do the transaction. So let's have a look what's actually happening on the market at the moment. Just to explain this graph a little bit, the blue bars are daily inquiries that we receive. The red line is average trend, 7-day trend. Also, the spaces in between these groups of bars are the weekends. We don't receive we receive the inquiries during the weekends, but we process them on Monday, which is really important. I'll show you why in a second. So, significant dates here are, I think it was 20th of March when the first, when the borders were closed. Then we had a 23rd of March, which were stage 1 restriction. On 26th, we got the news on stage 2 restriction, and on 31st of March, our Prime Minister has announced stage 3 restrictions. Now, it's obvious that the inquiries have gone down, and it's kind of to be expected. We experience normally during the elections or any economic sudden change decline in buyers' inquiries. But they didn't disappear. The buyers are still there, and from the period of 1st March, for 4 weeks starting at 1st of March, number of inquiries that we have received for that time was 1,197. These are the buyers that have inquired about different businesses that we have on the market. Then from 8th of March, well, I think this is about 10th of March, until 1 week before the Easter holidays, the total number of inquiries was 569. So this represents a drop of 47.3% of inquiries. So the number of people that inquire about the business about halved. So another couple of things that are interesting in this graph, it's definitely the downward trend until about border closure announcement. And then it kind of leveled off, all right? So because of this, and this is as tough market as we ever seen, we think this is the level of inquiries that continue. It looks like we stabilized on about 50% of the buyers' inquiries. Now, it's going to really be interesting to see what's going to happen after the Easter break. When we had 4 days to regroup, we didn't have any holidays, we didn't have a pressure of going on holidays. We had a lot of time to think. It's going to be interesting if the buyer is going to return, if it's going to stay the same, or if it's going to go downwards. And I'll give you an update on this in about 2 weeks' time from now. Another really interesting information that we have managed to extract from this data is that if you look at the number of inquiries in February for each day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, were kind of uniform. There was a little bit of a spike on Monday, but the rest of the dates were really close in numbers of inquiries. What happened after about 8th of March, prior to that, so beginning of March, we start to experience increase of inquiries on Mondays, and then going from there, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the inquiries tend to drop. And we have seen a very, very similar pattern during or just after the GFC. And also when you look at the type of the businesses that these people inquire, they tend to be smaller businesses, what we call job market type businesses. So when somebody wants to replace their job by purchasing a business, they generally generate profits between 100,000 and 200,000. And you'll see later on when I show you the findings from the survey, we expect that this type of the market for this type of businesses we expect to increase. So let's get to buyer survey to see what that tells us. Okay, let's look at now the results of the survey of 140 buyers and what that tells us. Well, the first question that we asked them is, in order to understand who we're actually talking to, the first question was, why are you looking to buy the business? And 32% of the respondents said as an investment. Another 30% it was to change their lifestyle. 21% was to expand their own business. So these are the businesses that are looking to buy other businesses in order to expand their current operation. To gain employment was 13%, and 3% of the respondents say other. And these were mainly, there were a few different things, but there were a few migration agents that were actually looking to buy the businesses for their clients. That's also interesting to see. For years, market has been thinking there's a big influx on overseas buyers, but our survey shows it's very, very small portion of the market. Then we asked them, how long have you been on the market for? And 25% said less than 6 months, 39% say to us 6 to 12 months, and 35% was more than 12 months. What we also know from the experience, people that were on the market for less than 6 months, just at the beginning of their process, and very rarely they buy the business. Somewhere when they're starting to be in 6 to 12 months or more, that's when the serious buyers, that's when they know what they're actually looking for, and it's a more chance that they're going to make a purchasing decision. Now, we asked them pre-COVID-19, how confident were you that you're going to actually buy the business? And 34% of them said to us they were reasonably confident. 23% was somewhat confident. Extremely confident was 22%. And not at all or not sure was about 20%. So 80% of the buyers were pretty confident that they got what it takes to buy the business, and with what they were seeing on the market, they believe they're going to find a business. Now, just to give us a bit of an idea how the buyers are actually thinking how long this current situation is going to continue it was really interesting that majority of the buyers, 84%, you can say 85%, think that this will take more than 6 months to actually stabilize. 14% think 3 to 6 months, and there's 1% that's extremely confident. They think this is going to be finished in less than 3 months. I hope they're right. I hope they prove us all wrong. Now, we asked them, once when the things go back to normal and they stabilize, how long do they, and what kind of recovery, how long do they think it's going to take to recover, and what kind of recovery we're going to have? 51% said slow recovery. So no one's out there accepting a V-shaped recovery, but it's more going to be something like this. Now, 7% thought it's going to be fast recovery. 7% think that after this COVID-19 situation is finished, it's going to be worse. 13 think they're going to be extremely slow recovery, and 21% think that they're going to be reasonable fast recovery. Now, this is not a window to the future. What this represents is how buyers feel today about the business in general. Now, this is really interesting question. Well, it's not an interesting question, it's a normal question, but really interesting finding. How do you think the value of the business has been affected? And 78% think that there's going to be significant reduction in the value of the business. So they think that the prices are going to be lower on the other end than what they are now. 3% think that some businesses will increase in value. So they think the strong business is going to worth more. 5% of them say, I've got no clue. 7% think, well, for mildly affected businesses, there won't be a change in the prices, and 7% think there's going to be no significant reduction in the value. But 78% think that there's going to be significant reduction in the value. Now, I just want to spend a few minutes talking about this. I think this may prove incorrect, and I'll tell you why. Because businesses are driven, value of the business is dictated by the profits that those businesses are making. So if overall we go into the tough times and the profits reduce, yes, the value gonna reduce. So if you had a profit, if you had a business, say, that's making, say, let's call it $300,000 after the owner's wages. Current values on about 3, so they'll give you value of the business of 900,000. Now, don't use this as an estimation of your value. This is a very crude example, but so we're talking about business that makes 300,000 pre-COVID-19 will worth 900,000. If this profit reduces down to $200,000 times 3, the value of the business is now 600,000. This is not the same business. This business now generates $200,000 instead of 300,000. Some other business that generating 400 may gonna come in this group. So $300,000 business, in our opinion, still gonna worth 900,000. So we're not expecting any significant change in the value, in how the value is calculated. But if the profits drop, the value of the business is gonna drop as well. So now we ask the question, look, because 80% of them were very, very confident they're going to find the business they want to buy and buy it. We asked them, well, how has the current situation changed your expectation of buying a business? And this is really, really interesting. And I think this is why the drop in inquiries. 36.1% told us, look, I'm going to wait until the other side, see how everything pans up, and then I'm going to go back on the market. 32% see opportunity in the current market. Now, this is not a clear, and we didn't ask the question very well. Do they think that the business is going to reduce, and that's why they see the opportunity in the current market, or they still think there are good businesses in the current market? But 32% of the buyers are still on the market. 21% they told us we're going to be cautious, but consider less affected businesses. So what the buyers are looking, businesses that are not significantly affected with current situation. 7% told us, look, this is too much, no longer interested in buying a business. And 3% tell us that they think that they will have to replace their own job. Now, I mentioned this earlier, that we're expecting this job market to actually grow. Now, we asked people, would you consider buying a percentage of the business now with the option to buy the rest when the situation resolves? And 63% said yes. Now, we actually saw similar deals happening before the COVID-19, but we're expecting this to increase. So what's going to happen? The buyers and the sellers, we believe, going forward will have to share the risk to more extent than they had to do it before. But it's really encouraging because 63% of the buyers, they're still on the market, say, look, you know, I'd consider doing a part of the business, and in my next videos I'm going to talk how you can actually take the advantage out of this. Another question that we asked was, what are the characteristics that will compel you to buy the business in this environment? And there were quite a few answers there, but two that really stood out that we could actually group were people are looking for lower fixed overheads relative to sales levels. So what I think is happening, the buyers are a bit cautious because they're expecting volatility. And if they have a business that has a low overheads, you can withstand those volatilities much easier. And another thing that quite a few of them said to them, they want to see good forward planning. So what I mean by that is, look, you got a business, it's operating at whatever level at the moment. I want to see what your plan is on the other side when this finishes. I want to see what steps and measures you're taking now in actually to start improving this business going forward. So if you're considering putting a business on the market, really have a really good look in your overheads at the moment, and there's never been better time to reduce the overheads than it is now. All the suppliers are very willing to negotiate. People are even negotiating wages with employees at the moment, and good forward planning. Now, to reduce the overheads is not that easy immediately, but it's happening. But good forward planning can be done. And look, you don't need a 200 pages business plan. What you need to do is to put together bullet points so you can actually talk to the buyers what your plans are to actually go forward in this environment and post-COVID-19. Look, we had some really good data from new infections. They are dropping, and they're dropping quite fast. And this, with a little bit of luck, could be over sooner than what we think. So much from me in this market report. I hope that you find the information and data that I presented useful, and that you can use it to make informed decision for buying or selling businesses. We're going to publish this report on our website. It's going to be available for download to everybody. So feel free to download it and analyze data in more details. I'm sure my competitors will, so they should. It's good data, it should be shared. If you're watching this on social media, please leave a comments below and ask any questions that you may gonna have. We're going to answer them on social media so the others can see the answers. If you want to have a more confidential conversation about selling your business, give us a call. Our analysts and our brokers will be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. You can find all our details on our website. Also, I would like to apologize for a few grammatical errors in my accent in this video. I promise as we go further they will improve. I hope it improves. And thank you for watching. Please stay safe, keep a distance, wash your hands. Until next time.